Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to Centurion's review of the punk rock band of Wargame Review Institutions. This is Cages of Fear from Joe Ward. It's a dungeon game book. Looks like his company is Hi-Fell Games. This is kind of a fighting fantasy style game. There's not really any plot choices in it, but there's choices about whether you're going to fight, flee, if you're going to use a potion or if you're going to use a spell, and so on and so forth. And essentially, you're rolling to see how many D3 pages you move forward in the book, and when you get near the back, then the conclusion occurs. But let's go over it. Alright, so essentially what it's saying is you're trapped in a dungeon, and you're trying to escape, and you're given a piece of paper, which is, surprise, surprise, your character sheet. So you roll a d6 to choose your forename and surname, and then you choose your class, whether you want to be a footman, a magistar, or a cunning brigand. The magistar and the brigand have advantages on the character sheet. We'll get to those in a minute. So you'll start with damage 0 base, intelligence 0 base, and health 4 base. Those can all be improved later on in the game with experience and so forth, or getting new weapons will increase your damage. So you're going to start with a dagger, which does +1 damage and 1 potion. So here's an example character sheet. This is your experience track. Certain encounters will give you experience. And as you can see here, there's these squares marked out here. Like when you get 2 experience, then you'll level up, and you'll be able to choose either to add +1 to your base damage, +1 to your base intellect, or +2 to your health. And you see these little dots here. If you're a Magistar, you'll gain 1 dot per one. And Brigand also gains 1 lockpick per level. And some of the abilities here, Magistars can reroll potion rolls. And a Brigand can reroll chests. Any failed attempt to flee can also be rerolled once, which is good. So you'll keep track of your gold here, your potions, your lockpicks, and your spells. You're probably wondering what these dice are on the bottom of the pages. Well, if you have no dice, you can randomly go to a certain page in here, and this will be your roll and the enemy's roll. So that's just if you don't have dice. So as far as combat, what happens is you'll roll a d6 for yourself, and you'll roll a d6 for the enemy, and whoever gets the highest does damage. And so whatever your damage rating is, like currently you're starting with 1 damage. Since you have a dagger, it will do 1 damage, and this keeps going back and forth until one of you is killed, or after the first round of combat, or excuse me, once you've dealt damage for the first time to an enemy. If you want, you can flee. Sometimes it's a good idea because some of these enemies are really tough. So other than that, when you win a combat, you may get experience, you may get a potion, or you may get an item. It all depends. So when you're going from one room to another, you roll a d6, and you're doing actually a d3 roll. So on a 1 or 2, you'll advance 1 page, 3 or 4, 2 pages, or 5 or 6, 3 pages. Each page in this is a room. So you'd start here. Advance D3 rooms to begin your escape. So let's just say you rolled the 3. So you'd go 1, 2, 3, and you get to the chest here. And let's say you're a brigand, you'll get the reroll chest rolls. So let's say he rolls a 4, he gets a spell. Or if he rolls a 1, then it's empty, and he could reroll since he's a brigand. And on the bottom of each of these rooms, it gives a little bit of flavor text here about the room and your movement through it. So here's something you could fight. Here's a skeleton who does damage 1 and has a health of 4. And you'll get 1 experience, 1 potion, and 1 spell if you defeat it. In the beginning of the game, this is actually tough to fight because you have a damage of 1 and a health of 4. So it's basically a 50-50 chance who's going to win there. And then you have some stuff like here's Tumbling Cages. If you happen to move to this room, there's a possibility you can take damage due to like either a trap or something bad happening. And then as you see down here, some of the traps give you damage. Like on this one, if you roll a 1, you'll take 1 damage. This one's got a health of 2, but he does 2 damage, so that's one you got to watch out for. This one's got a health of 6 and damage of 1. Here's a well and a chest. Wells kind of basically the same as chests, pretty much. The problem is, like this well, there's on a 1 or 2, there's a trap that occurs, so it's kind of a dangerous well. And here's a shrine where you can make an offering by paying gold, or you can plunder it. In this case, there's 3 chances you'll hit a trap, so probably don't want to plunder that one. Here's a really nasty one. This guy does a damage of 3 and he's got a health of 7. This one does d6 damage, which is really dangerous because it can do up to 6 damage to you. And I mean, you're starting the game with only 4 health, so if he hits you once and rolled a 6, you're gone. Unless you've increased your health through experience or whatever. Yeah, Apothecary, another. This one's really dangerous too. Here's a rope bridge. You have to roll, otherwise you'll fall back. You'll take damage and fall back a certain number of rooms. And so you keep going until you get to the near the end, and then you got some tough stuff you have to fight. And once you escape the dungeon, you read a little bit of the plot there and stuff. But what do I think of this? This actually isn't bad. I didn't pay much for it. It got it on Amazon. I wonder if this is one of these Amazon published books, meaning you can only buy it from Amazon, because whenever someone orders one, they actually print it out at Amazon and then send it to you. I don't know if it's like that or what, because I've never seen this in a game store or anything. But it's fun to play. It's pretty hard. You're going to have to play this like 6-7 times before you win, most likely. My only complaint is it's a little bit too random in places. Like, I mean, you can have like a chest. You don't have to have a chest where it's always random what you get in it. I mean, you can have like a locked chest and just you get a potion, or a locked chest and it's automatically a trap or something. You know what I mean? Or it doesn't have to always be that random. But yeah, overall, this ain't bad. I think I paid less than $10 for this or something, so I definitely got my money's worth. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good evening.